The outpouring of grief since Mr. Odinga's death has been unprecedented in Kenya's post-independence history. On Thursday, chaos erupted at a public memorial when police fired live bullets and tear gas to disperse massive crowds. At least 3 people were reported killed, and several others were injured in the ensuing stampede. Despite the violence, tens of thousands continued to gather, many walking miles from neighboring counties, to pay their final respects. At Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, thousands lined the runway as the Kenya Airways plane carrying Mr. Odinga's body touched down. From there, his coffin was carried through streets packed with mourners waving tree branches and twigs, a symbol of grief among the Luo people, his ethnic community. On Sunday, Mr. Odinga will be laid to rest in Bondo, his rural hometown in western Kenya. The lakeside region has long been the political heartland of the Odinga family and a bastion of opposition politics. The making of a political icon. Raila Odinga was born in 1945 in Maseno, western Kenya, into a family already steeped in politics. His father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, was one of Kenya's foremost independence leaders and the country's first vice president. Educated in East Africa and later in East Germany, the younger Odinga became an engineer before turning to politics in the 1970s. His outspoken criticism of government corruption and authoritarianism led to multiple arrests under the rule of President Daniel Arap Moi. After a failed coup in 1982, he was accused of treason and imprisoned for nearly a decade, much of it in solitary confinement. Prison did not break him, a close ally recalled at the funeral. It forged him into the leader who would one day help free his country. Following his release, Mr. Odinga emerged as a driving force behind Kenya's pro-democracy movement, pushing for an end to single-party rule. His efforts culminated in the restoration of multi-party politics in the early 1990s, a turning point in the country's history. A contested but indelible legacy. Funeral is held for Raila Odinga, a pillar of Kenya's democracy. Thousands paid their respects at a stadium in Nairobi as Kenya bade farewell to one of its most enduring and transformative political figures. President William Ruto hailed Mr. Odinga as a statesman whose legacy will live within every Kenyan and every African. Kenya held a state funeral on Friday for Raila Amolo Odinga, the former prime minister and longtime opposition leader whose decades-long fight for democracy and social justice shaped the nation's modern political identity. Mr. Odinga, who died at 80 while receiving treatment in India, was remembered as a symbol of resilience, defiance, and hope for millions of Kenyans. At Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi, thousands of mourners filled the stands under the hot afternoon sun, waving white handkerchiefs and holding portraits of the man many affectionately called Baba, the father of modern democracy. Hymns echoed across the arena as the Kenyan flag-draped coffin was carried in by soldiers, surrounded by family members, political allies, and foreign dignitaries. President William Ruto, speaking before the coffin, paid tribute to his former rival and later political partner. "Every once in a generation, there comes a leader whose impact transcends their moment," he said. Raila Odinga may no longer walk with us, but his courage, his voice, and his vision live within every Kenyan and every African. The ceremony was attended by the presidents of Somalia, Ethiopia, and Tanzania, along with representatives from across the continent, a testament to Mr. Odinga's stature as one of Africa's most influential political figures. Mr. Ruto declared 7 days of national mourning, ordering flags to be flown at half-staff. In Nairobi, shops closed early, and many streets fell silent as the service was broadcast live across the nation. A nation in mourning. Mr. Odinga ran for president 5 times, in 1997, 2007, 2013, 2017, and 2022, each time falling short. His 2007 loss, widely believed to have been marred by electoral fraud, sparked post-election violence that left more than 1,000 people dead. A power-sharing agreement, mediated by former UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan, made him prime minister from 2008 to 2013. Though once seen as a fiery populist, Mr. Odinga gradually evolved into a pragmatic statesman. He played a central role in drafting the 2010 Constitution, which decentralized power and strengthened civil liberties. In his later years, he was known for seeking reconciliation, most famously through his 2018 handshake with then-President Uhuru Kenyatta, a gesture that eased years of political tension. Critics accused him of abandoning his reformist ideals and becoming part of the very establishment he once fought against. Yet even his detractors acknowledged his enduring influence and his unmatched ability to mobilize the public. Raila Odinga was both revolutionary and reconciler, said historian Ing'ang'e wa Muchiri. He embodied Kenya's contradictions, its pain, its promise, and its persistence. An enduring spirit. As the sun set over Nairobi on Friday, thousands filed past the coffin one last time. Songs of freedom and unity filled the air. Some wept openly, others raised clenched fists, a symbol of defiance and respect. For many Kenyans, Raila Odinga's death marks the end of an era, a farewell to the last of the great post-independence leaders. Yet his ideals, rooted in justice, equality, and unity, continue to resonate with a new generation of activists and politicians. "Baba taught us that democracy is not a gift," said one young mourner outside the stadium. "It is a fight we must keep fighting."